Clickable button record. Clickable button pause. Clickable button end recording.
What is up, everybody? It is Blind Metal Gamer here with you once again, along with the wonderful and vivacious Kaira Super Saiyan. What is up, Kaira?
Hello, Blind. It is great to be back, and today is a great day. On this day, when we are recording, it is the first day of spring.
Yes, happy first day of spring. The equinox is taking place, and after feeling a bit under the weather, Blind Metal Gamer is back, baby. And Kyra, do you want me to tell him, or do you want to tell him what we're talking about today?
We are talking about navigating Easter as adults, a theme we are continuing from last year.
Yes. And if you want, I'll kick it off. As you know, as you listeners know out there in podcast land, Spotify and YouTube land, no, both Kaira and I have disabilities. I'm visually impaired, and Kaira's on this autism spectrum. And we celebrate Easter as adults with disabilities. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how we each celebrate Easter as an adult with a disability. Kaira, would you like to go first?
Yes. So, one way that Blind and I celebrate Easter is our church has a sensory friendly egg hunt option, which is low stimulation and also which is a low stimulation option for people like me who get overwhelmed on an auditory level, and they also incorporated chirping eggs for blind who cannot navigate a egg hunt in the traditional sense.
Yes, they did. Now, again, the egg hunt, the sensory feeling egg hunt was a good experience. Although this year, I don't know. I mean, because there are some people in Blind's family that are a bit opposed to Blind hunting egg hunts at his age.
Well, I mean, there are people in my life who are opposed to it at my age as well. But then I have to remind those people it is made for people like me and you.
Right. And while the chirping eggs are great for audio cues and whatnot, what are some other ways, Kyra, that we as adults with disabilities celebrate Easter?
Well, for both of us, we've had to incorporate dietary restrictions
Yep.
into Easter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
due to me watching my blood sugar because it was a little bit higher than I would have liked last round,
Mm-hmm.
and the work I've had done on my teeth as an adult, I do not eat that much Easter candy anymore. Actually, that goes for Halloween, Easter, or Christmas candy. I will eat chocolate bunnies, and that's about it. So, and I also have a peanut allergy, which is also a part of my disability. And so I will go through my and give it to family that can eat it because I don't want to accidentally eat a Reese's cup or a Reese's peanut butter egg and make myself sick because I wasn't paying attention in an egg hunt. And so, as usually as an adult celebrating Easter, I get myself some chocolate bunnies from the store because there's this one brand of chocolate bunny I really like, which would be Lindt Gold Bunny,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll eat the. I won't eat them all in one sitting. I'll eat them one bunny at a time, like days apart.
Mm-hmm.
I'll focus on other Easter foods such as honey baked ham and bunny macaroni and cheese.
Nice. Now, for your boy Blind, who's a bit under the weather, sorry. Um, I have to kind of avoid the chocolate bunnies. I've got to be very, very careful nowadays. Because if I don't, certain things might happen.
Yes.
And we don't want those certain things happening.
No. No.
So what I do is I might, if it's one of those big hollow rabbits, I break him up into pieces, bag his bad self up, and just nibble on him from time to time.
Yes, and that
Now,
is a good way to do it.
and then another thing, another Easter food that I do not avoid: Easter ham.
We love Easter ham in my family. It is usually honey.
Hmm.
It is usually a honey baked ham from one of the local grocery stores to our area. We don't ask me the name because Blind and I do not disclose location.
Right. So we'll get, either a ham or do some fried chicken. I remember one year we had fried chicken for Easter, and it was insane.
You know,
Oh.
last year, I was by myself for Easter. I had nobody
Hmm.
to celebrate with because the people I normally celebrate with were either out of town, don't drive, or didn't have plans. Um, have plans, and so what I did is I took leftover ham out of the freezer from Christmas
Hmm.
and ate that and made a pot of bunny mac and cheese and ate that. And I think I had some dinner rolls to heat up too.
Nice. That is a good way to celebrate Easter. Um, you know. So there are other ways though that you can celebrate Easter as an adult with disability. Isn't that right, Kyra? Would you like to talk about that next?
Yes, in my family, you're never too old to get an Easter basket. I mean, it'll often be filled with stuff for adults, but you can most definitely get an Easter basket. Like my mother will fill it up with candy and my favorite chocolate bunnies, and usually some beauty products, sometimes a craft. That just stuff that she thinks would interest me. Because in my family, you're not too old to be East to celebrate Easter because there's always going to be an Easter bunny in your life.
Oh yeah. Now my family, Blind's age, we don't. My family, we don't do Easter baskets per se because my family believes once you get to be a certain age, Easter baskets go away. It's kind of like Santa Claus at Christmas. Once you get a certain age, he goes away. The jig is up. Same with the baskets. Now, as far as that goes, I celebrate in my own way. I come to the capable worship that you and I go to, Kyra.
Which also has a sensory friendly service,
Yes.
away from the hustle and bustle of the churchgoers and the excess amount of people that come in, because we have one of the largest churches in our area.
Right. And, another way that I celebrate, and I'm sure you do this too, Kyra, just having a good family meal or a family get together.
Yes, I remember one year for Easter, my mother gave me a fruit basket, not like one with filled with fruit, not a gift basket of fruit, but an actual basket for fruit as my
Oh,
Easter
wow.
basket.
Oh, wow. Now that would have been nuts. So, you know, have you ever, Kyra, because I'm going to talk about this next, but I wanted to defer this question to you. Have you ever experienced any type of like stereotypes or being told you were too old for such and such at Easter and like
Well,
any humiliations?
I mean, up until I moved down my own, became independent, and started doing holidays in general that are typically for kids, I would get told, "Oh, you're too old to go to Easter egg hunts. You're too old to go trick or treating. You're too old to participate in Santa Claus." And there was just some stigma around it. And when I started going to holiday events, I found that I could that I could do these events as an adult. It may be because I look younger than I am, or it may just be because my disability is more obvious. Um, and then of course, I think our sensory friendly service has really helped. Um, um, and so I feel like that there is that stigma until you begin defying this stigma and then proving that there's nothing wrong with it.
Right. Now, I remember, as far as being told I'm too old, you know, certain members of the family are like, oh, blind, you're too old to do the Easter thing. It's for kids. It's not for adults. It's for kids. And now I'm going to say, granted, there are some aspects of it that are more targeted towards a younger audience. Wouldn't you agree? Like
Oh,
the bunny and the egg hunts.
I mean, yes, I would agree, but if you are an adult with a disability that enjoys those things, mind your own damn business, because it's up to that person to decide if it's appropriate for them or not, not
Right.
other
Not
people.
right. And the reason why I brought that up is because a lot of adults with disabilities will face that. They'll be celebrating Easter their own way, and they get told from the outsiders, no, you're doing it wrong, and it's not appropriate for you because you're such and such age. Do it the
Yeah.
adult way. And that burns me up.
I
Because
mean,
here's how I look at it. Yes, we have disabilities. Yes, there are certain aspects of Easter that is geared towards the younger consumer. But as adults with disabilities, if we want to celebrate a certain way, it should be up to us, not the outsiders looking in.
yes. I mean, I can remember last year there was someone in your life that told you, because of your dietary restrictions, "Hey, blind, you need to get rid of all that candy and donate it to charity." And well, yeah, you weren't going to eat all that candy all in one sitting, but you could have made the decision to enjoy the candy or not without someone telling you, "Hey, this is what you need to do."
Right, it should have been my choice, not that other individual's.
Correct.
Now,
It's just like, I'm told, "Hey, why do you need this many chocolate bunnies? Just get one." I'm like, "I'm not eating them all at once. Mind your own business."
yeah. Well, I ended up giving the candy to, I'll just say, other fam members
Mm-hmm.
that were thankful, and enjoyed it.
Yeah. And there's nothing
Nothing
wrong with,
wrong with it, but I think it should have been up to me to choose.
yeah. I mean, and I know you were going to give that candy up on your own anyway, but it's up to
Hmm.
you to be informed about what you want to do with that candy. Just like it's up to me to be informed about what I want to do with my candy.
Right now, and I do want to ask Kyra, do you remember the egg hunt that they had in our town several moons ago? That was for the blind and low vision folks.
No, whenever we would do egg hunts when I was a kid, we would do them in the backyard of my childhood home. And oh, this is actually a good point to bring up. Because of my peanut allergy, my mother would write my initial on my eggs and put a dot on it, on eggs meant for my siblings. And
Hmm.
then the other eggs would have money in them, so that we would all have a fair chance at getting a good amount of eggs.
Nice. Do you have? And I remember the egg hunt for the blind they had here in our area, and I would go every year when I was younger. And I remember, oh God, getting those beeping eggs, and then getting a big basket full of goodies at the end and all the candy. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the family at the time, I was of course a younger blind middle gamer, so had to have help moderating. Let's just say.
That that was yeah.
Because if I didn't have that extra help moderating, I would have gulped that down in one sitting, boys.
Yeah, my mother, she would take my eggs full of candy and say, you're allowed this amount of candy from these eggs per day until the candy is gone. But she would never take my candy because she wanted to make sure it was my safe candy.
Right, right, right. If it was unsafe, it went, yeah, yeah, yeah. But another thing we would, that, I remember, but the reason why I brought that up is because um, we celebrated Easter again, and we experienced the younger aspect of it and the older aspect of it. And we have to, celebrate as, best we can with what we're, given as far as restrictions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kyra, let me ask you this: as a adult with disability, what is your favorite Easter tradition now that you do that kind of incorporates, the faith and disability in one that kind of helps you celebrate Easter now as an adult with a disability?
Well, there would be two things. The first thing would be getting the chocolate eggs not chocolate eggs, good lord, wrong thing. Chocolate bunnies that I know I can eat because they are delicious and I love them. I
Mm-hmm.
found a good flavor I really like last year. And then the other thing would be the sensory friendly egg hunt. Although, unfortunately, due to timing of an event in my personal life, I am unable to do the sensory friendly egg hunt this year.
As far as me and the Century Fruit, I liked it. I don't know if I'll be doing it again this year or not.
I was
But
going to, but I will be going to the sensory friendly service that we've talked
right,
about.
I'm going to that too. So definitely, definitely. So, do you have anything you would like to say to anyone who is celebrating Easter as an individual, adult or child with disability, who might be facing some of the challenges or things we talked about in this episode? What advice would you give them?
Well, I
On
would
both ends, the young or the old.
I would tell them be on the lookout for disability friendly activities. You never know where you're going to find them. If you have a food allergy, there's actually a resource. I believe it's from FAIR, which is Food um Allergy Research Education. I believe that's what it stands for. And they provide a list of allergy friendly candies for every holiday. I follow them for them, and I have found some great sources of allergy friendly treats. Um,
Nice, nice.
um, be on the lookout for sensory friendly Easter services, and if you can't find one. You could always do you could always do a virtual Easter sermon if simply to avoid this sensory overload that comes from all the people coming
Yes.
into one area at once. Because believe me, there have been times where I've gone into our church before our sensory friendly service was introduced, and I'd go in on Easter. The amount of people would just make my head want to explode. And if you want to go to an Easter activity that's made for little kids, and this applies to any holiday like Halloween, Christmas,
Yeah.
Easter, or even Valentine's Day. Don't be afraid to do it. You'd be surprised at how lenient people are because it's an event for a large amount of people.
Oh, yeah. Now, as far as the sensory friendly service option or the virtual service option, a lot of your churches these days have YouTube channels, Facebook pages, so you can work on there, for services to listen to. And I recommend YouTube because or maybe even Spotify, because that way, if you can't make it at the time it's live, you can listen to it on your own schedule.
Yeah. And, that brings up another important point. Like, I am very grateful that I'm in a career to where we get Easter Sunday off.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally we work on Sundays, but, they take the time to give us Easter off because it's so important to so many people.
Right. And, I think that um, no matter how you choose to celebrate, it's up to you. And this is,
It
again, no matter what holiday it is, since we're focusing on Easter, it can apply to Easter, Christmas, whatever holiday. You celebrate your way. Don't let others tell you how to celebrate. You do it the way you see as fit and enjoy the day your way.
yeah, and you don't have to celebrate Easter with your family if your family dynamic is rough. You can always celebrate Easter on your own terms, like I had to do last year.
Mm-hmm.
It is so easy to just do your own celebration. Like, you could find a celebration at a church, or you could go to the store, get a small ham and whatever else you fix for your Easter dinner, and just
Mm-hmm.
celebrate that way.
Mm-hmm. And, most definitely. I mean, that, just do it the way you see fit. So, Kyra, do you have anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I'm just going to say that, um Easter, is more than the jelly beans, the chocolate bunnies, the egg hunts, the Easter bunny. Um, just celebrate Easter the way you see fit and enjoy your life within reason, of course. I mean, it's about. I mean, there is nothing wrong with celebrating Easter in a childish way, especially if you're an adult with a disability. Because it's just Easter is about renewal and rebirth. It's about celebrating spring, and it's just a wonderful time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so my advice would be celebrate the holiday the way you see fit, the best way you know how. Enjoy it with those you love, be it your family, friends, or whatever. And if you're in a situation where you have to be alone, realize that you're not alone because there's others in that same situation with you. They may not be there physically, but they're there spiritually, and
Absolutely.
they are in the same boat. You just don't see it. So that's my advice. So, Kyra, you want to tell them what's coming up next, or do you want me to do the honors?
Let's have you do it. I think I did it last time.
All right, next up will be summer as we end another season of the Blindside podcast. This will be the not season finale, but the one before that. So the next episode that will be uploaded will be the season finale for this season, and then Kyra and I will be on break, and then we will begin the next season of the podcast in earnest, and the next season will have special guests, won't it, Kyra?
Yes, we have been working on some guests. So stay tuned on that.
All right, so with that being said, I want to thank you all for listening and enjoying. Again, happy Easter, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and until next time, for Kyra Super Saiyan, I've been Blind Metal Gamer saying so long and peace out.
Hi, Super Saiyan, y'all. Stay golden.
End recording. Click a heading outro video.